All right, so we are back on Wade's World, and I am trying to figure out what is happening in the world of streaming and of Twitch and just this online sphere. I'm kind of new to like broadening my horizons and talking about things that aren't just in the sports world. Like I've done videos before on creators that I knew of, like Young Philly or Fousey or Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI or Lunchly or Prime or things that I knew a little bit about that I wanted to shine a little bit more light on to add some transparency. Recently, you guys have seen, I've done the videos on HS Tiki-Taki and Hassan, who still will not admit to the thing that we all saw happen, which was him shocking his dog with a shock collar. It was there in plain sight. There's so much evidence for it, and people continue to deny. And this is the thing that I'm realizing when I'm doing videos like this, is that I am dealing with an entirely new community of people that are chronically online. I mean the people that live, breathe, eat, sleep, Twitch, stream. And I'm not just talking about the creators, I'm talking about their fans. I'm talking about the people that have cultivated this sort of group that lives online, has little to no social, actual face-to-face interaction. The parasocial relationships they build in their mind aren't the ones that are in reality, and it's becoming a real problem that we're seeing more and more and more. Twitchcon is a place where creators and their fans or just random people show up and they interact with each other. In most cases, there's creators there to do content, and then sometimes we'll be there to do meet and greets. And in the case of the creator Emiru, who I don't know, never have watched one of her streams, but she seems to be a very popular YouTuber and cosplayer and streamer that has a lot of fans. I mean, she's all over the place. I don't know exactly what she does. She has 1 million followers on her Instagram. This is what she does, and she's very successful. I mean, every picture is, no pun intended, banging on Instagram. She also has a Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/Emiru, who, again, let's take a look at this. What does she do here? Okay, so she does some IRL streaming, it seems like, for the most part. Who knows what else? But yeah, this is kind of the way that the internet has gone. Cosplaying, IRL streaming, you know, a video game come to life type of atmosphere. And it is what it is. She is a massive streamer, and she has a massive following. Now, the problem comes in when we now fast forward to TwitchCon. Just a couple of days ago, Emmy is doing a meet and greet with her fans, and this happens.
Whoa.
So yeah, out of nowhere, this freakazoid, gigantic man cuts the line, tries to like hug and caress her. The scariest thing about the internet is these people think that this is something normal. Not the people in the crowd, not people that videoed this, none of that. Thank God this guy caught it on video. But the guy doing this thinks I'm gonna sweep her off her feet. I'm gonna meet her at a TwitchCon meet and greet and make out with her, sexually assault her in front of all these people. The dude has one of those like chain wallets, I'm pretty sure, which also indicates one of these chronic nerd online losers. But he is a big dude, and he just forces himself on this girl, tries to like grope her, and then just gets fucking boom, son. Fuck out of here with your clumsy fat ass. Go flying, motherfucker. I don't know why he wasn't dropped on the spot. I'm talking right hand to the fucking lamb chops. These fucking gullets he got for Jaws would have been shaking in the wind. Don't know why that didn't happen. And then you don't get to see the rest of the clip here, but kind of just escorted to the side, and she gets escorted to the back, meaning behind this little barricade through the exit sign. And then according to Emiru, that's kind of where this ended. But this is not really the end of this. Number one, the questions that come to your mind right away, how can something like this happen at an Amazon-owned company? Because if you didn't know, Twitch is owned by Amazon, and this TwitchCon has massive, massive streamers there. There needs to be security there, obviously. There needs to be something in place so that these freakazoid fans and this parasocial universe that I guess we and everybody else that has bought into the internet being their second life have created, they have pretty much free access to go up and just do whatever they want. Because there is no security, clearly. I mean, shouts to that guy for actually showing up and doing something. But how are you, this company, under the watchful eye of Amazon, not protecting your creators, not protecting people that are there to highlight your product, the people that are making you whatever money that Twitch is making? And I'm hearing it's not a lot because Twitch is losing a lot of money. But the people that are bringing in money for the company are the ones you're supposed to protect. They're there to make appearances, not to be groped and fucking sexually assaulted by these goofball weirdos that walk in and think this is their chance to be a knight in shining armor. And I'm telling you, these Discord, Reddit, sweaty ass troll monsters are out there. And they're just waiting on their shot. Now, you might say to yourself, Wade, those are great questions. Those are things that I would ask. I would ask the CEO. Who's the CEO of Twitch? Well, it's this guy, Dan Clancy. And he is, I think, a certified weirdo in his own right. This guy looks like malnourished Joe Dirt mixed with Indiana Jones if they added 20 years to the end of the movies. Like, it doesn't look like a dude that you'd want to hang out with, but he's one of these older guys that tries to hang out with the younger crowd. It's very weird, and I think this is what is showing me more and more that this entire company, this entire platform of Twitch is a bunch of fucking weird oddball people. But he was interviewed by our favorite journalist who's wearing her mask in 2025. Not in case she spreads COVID, but in case she spreads more crazy misinformation out of her freaking muzzle. But here is Taylor Lorenz. Let's see what she has to say, trying to get an actual answer out of this Dan Clancy guy for what happened to Emiru during TwitchCon.
Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan. And a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year, just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different. When I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. We're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on, I think.
Let me just stop it for a second. I could have misheard that, but it sounded a lot like, number one, he's doing the PR talk about how, yeah, we're going to take care of it. I'm friends with Emmy. But what was that bullshit in the middle about controlling your community, and when you're live streaming, you have the ability to ban people versus other short form content? When I make tweets or do a short, I can't ban those people that say mean things. Hey, dumbass, this guy wasn't in her Twitch chat. He walked up on her in her meet and greet. Was she supposed to hit the ban button on him in real life? No, that's your job, dumbass. That's your job, to have security there so weirdos like this, who she has probably banned in her chat before, who probably is a disgruntled former watcher of hers or somebody that thinks that he has a relationship, some parasocial whatever, with this girl, thought he would just, she's not going to talk to me online, I'll go to her in person. If she's going to ban me in her chat, I'll go to her. She's just playing hard to get. I'll go to her in person. I hope he's not insinuating that she brought this on herself. That would be a crazy thing to say from David Spade's fucking stepbrother here.
Everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done because that's the world we live in now.
Demi had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. It is very secure, but here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured
a good, actually decent question.
Some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there, right? And so, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works for them, right? So I don't want to get into any, specifics or details, but part of that is working with creators and, trying to find them. Right now, we're definitely, ramping it up to make sure creators know that we have the resources there to help them figure out what's right for them.
What is that answer? That's a nothing answer. Again, did you hear that weird part in the middle? We're trying to be secure, but in this day and age when you're putting stuff out there, again, I assume he's talking about the way she markets herself with the Instagram and all that, but like, are we really gonna sit there and be like, oh, she had it coming because she puts some risque stuff on her Instagram? Like, I know he's not saying that, but he's kind of saying that without saying, oh, you market your body, so you should expect guys to come up and just grope you in the middle of Twitch. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? This guy is a he's a nut, dude. And by the way, not only was that just the most half-assed answer in the world. If you want to see how much of a fucking creep weirdo this guy is, here is, shout out to Dan Saltman once again for pulling this clip. Here he is on stage at some other thing, apparently the same night. I don't know if that's the same night or the night after, but he's here in his Indiana Jones garb once again. Freaking Brett Michaels if he had HIV over here. He's on a stage at some party at TwitchCon the day of or the day after this happened, because that wasn't a major concern. I'm gonna go party with a bunch of people way younger than me, super creepy, bordering on something else, and do shit like this. Ew. I can't even play the music. And drops her on her fucking head, and then she gets up. What a goof, dude. Just dropping girls on their head, fucking Big Show choke slam style. Just fucking hold that, hit the ground. She comes up, boom, backhand to the just for men. Most awkward exchange you'll ever see. And this girl's probably like 20 years old at the most. So here's Emiru herself talking about the situation that happened to her at TwitchCon and why it probably should have been prevented. This is not me looking at a video of Dan Clancy flipping girls over that are 3 times younger than he is and having a blast and shaking his old brittle shoulders out. Super creepy, but there's actually legitimate concerns here for creators and why they're not being protected. Let's listen to what she had to say.
I don't think that Twitch would have put out an official statement if that clip wasn't posted and going viral. And even after the fact that that clip was posted and going viral, as far as I know, the other people who had meet and greets today were not reached out to ask if they wanted extra security or if they even wanted to cancel their meet and greet. Like, maybe some people were, but I know for a fact Extra Emily wasn't. My personal manager made sure that she had extra security. No one reached out to her. Don't know about everyone, but I know that for a fact.
That's also just, again, we're going to see a pattern here from Twitch at TwitchCon, and I'm going to essentially relay it back into Twitch itself of a lack of moderation, a lack of concern, and a lack of initiative from Twitch staff, Twitch HQ, Twitch leadership, anyone on doing anything to moderate their platform, to make sure their creators that are there to benefit not only the creator, but the platform itself are safe, and just a complete flat-out ineptitude when it comes to how to run a business and keep things in check. Because I think more than creators, more than even watchers, Twitch is to blame for a lot of what's going on right now with the radical stuff on their platform, with who gets banned and who isn't, with why people are banned versus why others aren't. The guy that attacked Emiru apparently was a Twitch streamer. They banned him for 30 days. Meanwhile, Aiden Ross has been banned for forever because they don't like him and his community was saying stuff, not even Aiden himself. I've heard people being called fat or just insulted streamer to streamer and be banned for longer than this guy who had tried to sexually assault this girl was. I've seen Sneeko be banned on their platform for associating with Aiden Ross or speaking on political issues that didn't line up with what the running narrative is that Twitch wants to go with. It's very misguided and none of it makes any sense. But here was the statement Twitch did put out. And apparently they even lied in this. It says, the safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to the TwitchCon premises, and they were banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. Apparently, that isn't true. Apparently, he got a 30-day ban at first, and then I guess after a lot of blowback is now potentially permanently banned. We are coordinating with the impacted creators team, and per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We'll have increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in point, and we'll have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. If you've RSVP'd to a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for the remainder of the event. Twitch has a zero-tolerance policy for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. Now that all sounds good, but then they got hit with a community note. According to Emiru, the assaulter was not detained until hours after the incident happened and was done so after her manager was pressing Twitch to do something. She also states that Twitch security did not step in when the incident happened and laughed about it afterward. So let's read Emiru's statement here. She says, "Hello everyone, I'm okay, and thank you for all the kind messages. Sorry I can't respond to them all. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me by my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out it could have been a lot worse." It absolutely could have been. When we go back to this video, I thought the guy had a knife. Look at how much bigger this guy is. Who is this dude? I mean, this is probably just a random fan, but he's able to not only get within arm's length of her, to wrap his arms around her, grab her by her face. She just luckily forces him off, and here comes the freaking middle linebacker to take care of him for a second there. But then he starts to walk away. I thought he had a knife. That may actually just be a pen, but he definitely has something in his hand. And if that something wasn't a pen and it was a weapon, we could be talking about a complete travesty today where a girl potentially could have lost her life. I know I'm being hyperbolic a little bit, but am I? Because he was able to get his hands on her. What if he wasn't just a star-crossed lover in his own fucking deluded mind and he was actually there to hurt someone? Who's to say he couldn't have brought a weapon on the premises? Apparently, he was able to not only cross another couple of barriers, but also someone else's meet and greet, just walk right in front of everybody. No one stops him and get a hold of her. How is this an event that Twitch, one of the biggest streaming companies in the world, maybe the biggest streaming company in the world, is letting happen? It's because just like the way they moderate this platform that they run, their events are run very lazily and without fucking care. That's why. Back to Emiru's statement here. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this, but to tell you honestly, I'm a lot more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he's allowed to make it to me in the first place. Security in the clip who reacts is my own security. This guy that comes in and saves the day here is Emiru's security, someone she brought to the event. Thank God she's smart enough to have her own personal security there, because if not for him, no one is stepping in. And she truly could have been, whatever would have happened there, groped, maybe worse, in front of all those people. So not only did Twitch lie in this statement about security and protocols, because there was none, but also they're talking about providing extra security. How do you provide extra of nothing? How does that work? It's true, my favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to police at a past TwitchCon. Oh, boom, even worse for Twitch. Not only did this man who she had as security help out, and he was the only person that helped out in this situation, so Twitch had no one there to enforce any sort of security, but they banned her full-time or her favorite security guard from the event because he was holding onto someone's arm who had stalked this girl and I guess potentially was going to do something to her so the police would be involved. They banned that guy from coming back and protecting her again. So not only are they inept, stupid, lazy, but this is like intentional dumbassery. This is intentionally going, no, you can't bring anyone because we don't want to have a lawsuit on our hands. If someone is to try to hurt you and your personal security steps in, we'll provide no security and see how it goes. What a bunch of idiots. However, there were at least 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you see in the clip, since they don't even appear in the frame, LOL. So yeah, again, another paragraph, another complete fuck up by Twitch, and yes, it falls squarely on the fucking weird skeleton shoulders of Dan Clancy. There is security guards there. They watch the guy walk up, do nothing. Not only do they let him do whatever he's gonna do, they also, after the altercation where her security guard pushes him away and tells him to get out of there, they just let him walk away. There's no, hey, wait a second, you're gonna hold on. We're going to call the police because what the fuck was that? You can't just come up and grope people in public. Not even a, hey, we're going to escort you from the premises and ban you like their statement said. No, nothing happens. Again, according to the person that it happened to. So someone's lying, and I trust the person that got groped more than the company that was there and did nothing. The woman who was walking me away is my own personal manager, and behind the booth, the only 2 people who were checking in on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the Twitch staff came to ask what happened or if I was okay. Just fucking awful. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and immediately laughing and moving on to talking about something else. This is a fucking awful look. This is apparently one of the biggest streamers on your platform being like, you guys fucking suck. No one does anything. You're a bunch of fucking half-wit, hacks that can't even run security for your events, which I think I had heard before this event. People were scared to even come to TwitchCon, and I think I heard it there from masked up Taylor Lorenz, but I'd also seen it in a couple other places. Like, we don't want to go because there's unhinged lunatics running around thinking that they're like in some sort of relationship or, I don't know, doing something parasocial, because this platform is so terribly moderated that creator and chat, whether they're good or bad, sometimes can flood into some chaotic environment and do stupid shit because no one has any social cues. And some of these communities are fucking deranged. She goes on, so if no one is checking if I was okay or needed anything, they just let the guy run away initially. I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the event safe was doing. In Twitch's statement, they said the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that's a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet. I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me, and it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. Oof. Another just stabbed right through the freaking abdomen. She had to have her manager go to whoever was there in charge of the staff at TwitchCon and tell them, guys, this dude assaulted my talent. Are we going to do anything about that? And if she didn't, apparently nothing was going to happen. This guy could have walked away unscathed, probably live streamed himself walking out. I have a lot more I want to say, but I'll say it on stream later today. Thank you guys again. Sorry you had to see all that. Definitely my last TwitchCon, and it saddens me as a 10-year on and off attendee of TwitchCon. I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I do not feel cared for or protected. Even bringing my own is security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything's going to be okay. All right, so a bunch of actual fucking morons. And apparently she talked recently about her security being banned.
I don't think that's true. Okay, maybe I should talk about this, whatever, who cares. I had a security guard 2 years ago where there was a guy following me around TwitchCon, and he like asked him to stop multiple times. My guard asked him and the guy wouldn't stop, so he grabbed the guy, but he didn't like hurt him. He was just holding the guy until like the con security came. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, because your security guard touched him, he's like permabanned from the venue forever. But he didn't even hit him or anything. He just like held him while they waited for like the police to come. And
what the fuck?
And it was like my favorite security guard. I can't have him at TwitchCon anymore. I was just okay.
Crazy. You know what it is this company is so petrified of any sort of responsibility that they, no matter what, think that they have to do what's best for their bottom line. They don't want one of these psychotic weirdos to sue them in any way, shape, or form, so they'd rather throw their own creators under the bus or leave them without protection and not get sued than allow their creators to bring their security and do what security's supposed to do and then fight it in court if need be. They're a bunch of morons, and again, this is not just on the live event side. When I watch these clips on Twitch, when I see some of the things that are let go on Twitch, when I see how these communities and creators that can build these communities, Dan Clancy did say one thing correctly, creators do have to control their communities, but that isn't what this case is about Emiru. I'm seeing unhinged goofs created from just being a part of something that they think is bigger than it is. But I'm seeing the radical political stuff. I'm seeing the craziness that's let go on this platform, whether it's like someone had a baby on Twitch the other day, and that wasn't a bannable offense. The way people can talk in such hyperbolic terms about other people on this platform, and it's let go to where it becomes a message over and over that you think that the reality is what you've said about that person is who they are. I've heard people be called rapists on this platform, murderers on this platform, genocide, dictators, Nazis, name whatever it is, and that becomes the running narrative. And the more that becomes the running narrative, you can see on the political side, you can see it on the violent side, but you could also see it on this like parasocial, I know you better than you know you, we should be together type of thing. And this is what happens, man, because Twitch doesn't know how to moderate its platform or how to protect people when they do have these meet and greets in person. So here's a clip that I find super interesting. This was Emiru talking about apparently the situation regarding Dan Clancy, or maybe alleging to Dan Clancy, and how he was handling this entire thing.
The head of security for Amazon and the head of risk for Twitch.
Wow. Yep, that was who. I was going to leak it to my friend, but I guess I don't have to now.
Later the same night, I'm not gonna drop names here because I wasn't there, so I didn't.
That's who they were.
But I had multiple people tell me that key Twitch representatives last night were out partying.
She's speaking about Dan Clancy himself, by the way. was out partying at an influencer event
Also
while this
another
was
detail.
happening.
Sorry, my lines are all crazy here.
Now, I guess Asmongold is covering this as well, but it's not so much that Dan Clancy he's a grown man. He can go out and do what he wants. Well, doesn't act like a grown man, acts like one of these older dudes that has no personality to fit his age, so he tries to live vicariously through the creators that he employs on his platform. It's very weird, but it's not the fact that he's a grown man doing whatever he wants to do, even if it is some weirdo influencer party shit when you're like 75 million years old. It's the fact that you're the CEO of the company and one of your biggest streamers just got freaking groped in public, is saying no one's doing anything about it, doesn't feel like she even wants to go to your event, essentially trashing your event and being like, it sucks, there's no security, I'm never coming back. And you're like, meh, don't really care, I'm gonna go party. It's a terrible look for someone that's supposed to be the head of this company. It's a terrible look for someone that says in an interview, I guess a day after, that they care about the situation, that things are being done. And I'm not saying he needs to be on the front line with the fucking badge on in the police radio talking about where do we have him, what's the 2211 here, you know, whatever. What he needs to do is take some goddamn responsibility for his platform, for these live events for sure, whether it's the security protecting people live in person, or it's this lack of moderation and laziness that bleeds into the actual platform, where you have communities being built on the most insane psychotic stuff, or you have people in those communities, regardless of the ban button, because you can just make another account, continuing the harassment online, eventually leading to potential assaults in person. You have to do a better job, one, at these events for sure, but two, making a clear, straight line through rule set for people across the board. Not the ones you're just friends with, not the big buddy streamers that Dan Clancy wants to appease, but everyone. Otherwise, this type of shit will continue happening. It will bleed from their streams to events, to potential SWAT calls, to potential interactions in person and in real life that get these people hurt or worse. And the fact that the head of the fucking company is sitting there so nonchalant with his dumbass Crocodile Dundee hat on and his PR answers. And again, kind of looking at Emiru and being like, oh yeah, you have to use the ban button, or what you reap is what you, whatever he said, essentially alluding to her potentially creating this type of thing, like her being the one that's responsible for her own assault in that moment. Take some responsibility for your company, start moderating your platform, or let this shit continue to run amok and watch people leave Twitch, not just TwitchCon, leave the platform like it's the fucking plague. Imagine this girl gets fed up with it and is like, I'm going to kick. Imagine she's like, I'm gonna stream on YouTube. Her whole audience may not go, but a large portion will. And with that, an already bleeding Twitch will continue to die. Little by little, week by week, month by month, year by year, Twitch continues to prove it's a complete fucking dumpster fire. And this is the latest example. Emiru gets assaulted at Twitch. No one does a fucking thing about it. And Dan Clancy wants to party with 20-year-olds. That's the story for today, folks. What do you think? Let me know down below. An absolutely terrible situation magnified by a complete lack of responsibility and willful ineptitude by Twitch. What happens next? Don't have those answers, but guess we'll find out.